$1 million transfer was meant for you on September 7. But Archangel Michael intercepted a jealous voice blocking it. The portal is still open, but only for 90 more seconds. Open now. September 7th was not just a date on the calendar. It was a divine checkpoint in heaven's timeline, an appointed hour when heavenly transaction was marked for release. $1 million transfer, not just of currency, but of calling, of provision, of long-awaited breakthrough, was written in the scrolls of the righteous. This was no coincidence. This was covenant. This was divine orchestration from the throne of the Almighty. What you felt stirring in your spirit was not imagination. It was alignment. The heavens were moving. And your name was called. Listen closely, because though the gift was released, there was an interception. A jealous voice, slithering in silence, cloaked in shadows, moved to block what heaven had intended. The enemy of your soul, working through subtle manipulation and hidden envy, positioned itself as a thief in the night. It tried to steal what was never theirs to touch. This wasn't just warfare. This was sabotage. Had Archangel Michael not been dispatched at the sound of your name, the release would have been rerouted. That heaven does not make errors, it makes interventions. And the sword of the commander of God's armies was raised in your defense. The transfer is still open, but only for a moment longer. 90 seconds in heaven's time is not measured in your minutes. It's measured in decisions, in surrender, in stillness. The portal remains, hovering like a divine door of light, suspended in mercy, but it will not wait for indecision. Only the aligned, only the awakened, only the anointed can access it now. This message is not for everyone. This is not mass communication. It is a secret scroll delivered in spirit. Only those whose hearts have burned in the quiet. Only those who have felt the shift in the unseen. Only those who carry the mark of divine timing will hear and respond. Be still. Be silent. Be open. The interception was real. But the transfer still waits. Type "I received the transfer" in the comments if you know this word is for you. Blessing code 777 is hovering now. By sunrise, destinies shift. Let the heavens bear witness to what is being released right now. Let the record show that you heard this word not by accident, but by divine appointment. I call upon the hosts of heaven, upon the fire-bearing legions of the Most High, and I call upon Archangel Michael, who stands at the gates of protection, to bear witness to this revelation. Let the Spirit of truth rise now in your heart and confirm what your spirit already knows. Something has shifted, and your name has been called. By sunrise, yes, by the next rising of light across the horizon, a new order will be written over your life. And it begins with this divine interruption. You were never meant to receive this message casually. Heaven does not speak softly when it comes to matters of destiny. No, when the seals are broken, when the scrolls are opened, when divine instruction is released, it echoes across the realm of angels. That is what has happened today. $1 million transfer, assigned and authorized, was released on September 7. Your spirit felt it. Your sleep was not normal. Your thoughts were disrupted. Your peace seemed stretched. And now you know why. You have been watched. You have been observed, not just by heaven, but by voices cloaked in human form, wearing faces you thought were harmless. The jealous voice rose like a vapor, subtle but lethal, whispering lies and casting shadows over your name. It did not know the full measure of what was coming, but it sensed something divine was moving toward you. And so it moved first, to block it. But heaven intervened. At the edge of this interference, the Archangel was sent. His blade of justice severed the cords of sabotage. He stepped in between you and the curse. He deflected the theft. But know this, the transfer is still in waiting. It has not yet landed. It was paused, mid-flight, in spiritual holding. And now it waits for alignment, for response, for you. The window is rapidly closing. In the measure of heaven's time, 90 seconds is a whisper, here and then gone. What you do in this moment decides if the deposit becomes reality or just another record in the books of the almost blessed. You must not wait. You must not doubt. You must not ask for more signs. This is the sign. This is the call. This is the moon. You are not being asked to hustle, strive, or force your way in. You are being asked to align, to silence every noise, to shut every door that was not opened by God, to find the secret place. For in stillness, you will hear the final instruction, and in obedience, you will receive the final release. This word is not for the many. It is not for the curious. It is for the awakened ones, for the ones who feel the urgency in their bones, for those who know the difference between man-made hype and a Holy Ghost summons. If you are hearing this now, it is because heaven believes you're ready. Don't just hear it. Respond. Don't just sense it. Receive. Don't just watch it. Walk into it. Because by sunrise, destinies will shift. And yours is one of them. Type I am anointed in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. They watched you. They watched you when you didn't even know eyes were on you. They smiled in your face while secretly studying the light behind your words, the shift in your aura, the quiet favor following your steps. And the moment they felt it, the moment your atmosphere changed, they grew silent. Envy rarely announces itself with a sword. It slips in with silence. And now you understand. Because over the last few days, something inside you has felt off. Something has been pressing on your chest in the spirit. You couldn't quite name it. There was no visible attack. No obvious betrayal. Yet your sleep felt shallow. Your energy drained. Your dreams became strange. And your soul, once so sure, started to question, what is this heaviness sitting on me? Now you know. There was a jealous voice in the spirit realm whispering curses into the wind. Whispering doubts into the corridors of opportunity. Whispering confusion into your divine connections. They sensed something was coming for you, but they had no idea how heavy, how massive, how undeniable it really was. $1 million shift was in transit. It wasn't just about money. It was about movement. It was about honor. About vindication. About divine inheritance finally being released. The jealous voice did not arise randomly. It was summoned by spiritual agitation. Because the kingdom of darkness can feel the heat of rising glory. And you, chosen one, were burning too brightly for them to ignore. They tried to close the heavens over your head, not by shouting, but by whispering. Not with confrontation, but with disruption. Distraction. Disloyalty. Delays. And now, think back. Think of the strange cancellations. The unanswered messages. the people who suddenly went cold, the unexpected financial delays, the unexplainable anxiety. That was not just circumstance. That was interference. But it wasn't just them. The spirit of envy needed a host, and often it enters through the ones closest, through familiarity, through those who once applauded you. And so, the interruption came subtly, like a gentle fog rolling in. But its intent was surgical, to block the release. But hear this, heaven intercepted it. Archangel Michael did not wait for your prayer. He responded to your destiny. Because God does not allow what he intends to establish to be silently stolen. The interference was caught. The file in heaven was resecured. But the tension still lingers, because your heart is still asking, who is it? Why did I feel this? And what comes next? Beloved, there's a reason you feel emotionally raw. There's a reason the atmosphere shifted. There's a reason you've been sensing, discerning, watching. The jealous voice did not just try to steal your breakthrough. It tried to infiltrate your peace. And it almost did. But here's the truth the enemy didn't count on. You're still awake. You're still sensitive. Still hearing. Still in position. And because you are, the transfer has not been lost. It's just waiting for you to step into divine understanding. God allowed this shaking not to scare you, but to separate you. Because what's being released cannot rest on confused soil. It must land where discernment is active, where the spirit is open, and where truth reigns. You're not crazy. You're not overreacting. You're receiving revelation. And now that you've seen behind the veil, now that the jealous voice has been exposed, you are no longer vulnerable to it. Heaven has shown you what was hidden. And once something is revealed, it can no longer hide. Type I have seen behind the veil in the comments if this resonates. Blessing code 999 has now been ignited. If this message pierced through the fog and exposed something your spirit has been sensing all week, then don't just scroll, sow into this moment. Heaven uses moments like this to shift atmospheres, break delays, and unlock portals over others through your obedience. When you support this prophetic work, you are not given to a platform. You're helping someone else hear the call they almost miss. Give, and it shall be given unto you. That word is still alive. As you give, you release soil over someone else's dry place. I felt led to say this right now. If your heart is stirred, don't wait. Use the super thanks below. Become a monthly partner through membership, or visit the PayPal link in the description. Your seed carries fire. Your obedience activates overflow. And heaven sees it all. Bless what blessed you. So where your spirit was fed. Your giving is prophetic. Your response is holy. Go now. Only the chosen are fought like this. What you are facing is not just resistance. It is recognition. Heaven's enemies do not fight what they do not fear. And what you've been experiencing, the tension, the delays, the strange silence, the whispers behind closed doors, has not been random. It has been a signal in the spirit. A flare that marked your soul as one carrying something divine, something dangerous to darkness. Yes, this wasn't about money. It was about momentum. And momentum was interrupted because your blessing carried more weight than you knew. This is a spiritual war. But not all wars are loud. Some are silent. Some are psychological. Some are wrapped in people you trust. Some come dressed in fake support. But all are targeting one thing: your promise. From the moment that $1 million transfer was released from heaven on September 7, the atmosphere around you shifted. The jealous voice didn't just speak. It activated resistance. The kind that delays calls. The kind that creates accidents at the edge of breakthrough. The kind that interrupts flow. The kind that causes people to treat you differently without knowing why. Let me make this clear. You are not wrong to feel attacked. You are not imagining the warfare. You are not being dramatic. You are being marked. And what does the enemy do when someone is marked? He surrounds them with confusion. He sends distractions wrapped in opportunities. He sends relationships designed to delay. He sends false alignment with just enough light to blind you. Because if he cannot stop your blessing, he'll try to reroute it. And if he cannot reroute it, he'll try to make you question whether it was ever meant for you at all. But listen, you were not abandoned. Heaven did not leave you defenseless. Archangel Michael was sent. Not in theory, not in symbolism, but in action. While you slept, he stood watch. While you wept, he wielded the sword. While you waited, he warred. His blade of divine fire did not miss. The voice of sabotage was heard, and heaven recorded it. Yes, the whispers were heard. Heaven doesn't just listen to your prayers. It also listens to the curses spoken against your progress. Every jealous sigh, every mocking word, every manipulative seed planted in secret. It was all recorded. The spiritual court has been convened, and the verdict is being written. You must understand this truth. The attack was proof of your calling. Nobody steals from empty vaults. Nobody robs what carries no value. The resistance was a confirmation that you are on the edge of something massive. If the $1 million transfer meant nothing, there would have been no war. But it means everything. Not because of its number, but because of its purpose. Because of who you'll bless. What you'll build. What legacy will rise from this breakthrough. And how you respond in this season is critical. You cannot afford to collapse now. You cannot afford to respond emotionally. You cannot get entangled in petty distractions or toxic engagements. Why? Because the transfer, though intercepted, has not been cancelled. It is being held, waiting for your alignment, your silence, your unwavering agreement with heaven. Heaven is watching. Watching how you handle this moment. Watching what you say. Watching where you sow. Watching what you tolerate. Watching who you trust. Because destiny does not rest on the emotions of the day. It rests on the decisions of the soul. This war is not punishment. It is promotion through pressure. And you, chosen one, have been trusted with it. So do not faint. Do not fall. The sword has already fallen in your favor. Now let your faith do the rest. Type "I will not fold" in the comments if you're standing in agreement. Blessing code 444 has just been written over you. Within 72 hours, it will try again. Hear this and mark it well. The spirit of envy is not finished yet. Though it was intercepted, though the jealous voice was struck down by the sword of Archangel Michael, it is not gone. It is regrouping. The enemy does not retreat in surrender. He retreats to re-strategize. And as you listen now, understand this truth. Within the next 72 hours, a second wave will attempt to rise. This is not fear. This is for warning. This is heaven revealing what would have remained hidden. Because when you are chosen, heaven doesn't just bless you, it prepares you. And what is coming is not to destroy you. It is to reveal whether you've learned to discern, whether you've learned to guard the gate, whether you've learned to stay in position even when the pressure builds. The jealous voice that tried to block your $1 million release is not done speaking. It is searching for a new opening, a new weakness, a new opportunity to twist, delay, distract. And if you are not spiritually awake, you will miss the signs. Watch closely now. There will be dreams. Dreams that stir confusion, cause fear, or awaken you in the night. That is your spirit alerting you. You are not being tormented. You are being warned. There will be delays. Sudden interruptions in areas that were once flowing freely. Calls that don't go through. Doors that mysteriously close. Systems glitching. Money paused. These are not coincidences. These are interference points. Moments where the spirit of sabotage is testing your posture. And perhaps the most dangerous of all, distractions disguised as urgency. People from your past will reappear. Conversations you thought were buried will try to resurrect. Old battles. Familiar spirits. Even emotional outbursts from others that seem unjustified. This is how the enemy works. He pulls from what is familiar to disrupt what is sacred. But do not be alarmed. This is not to scare you. It is to position you. The jealous one will try again. But this time, you won't be caught off guard. This time, you will see it before it speaks. You will feel it before it forms. You will know it before it knocks. Because now you've been armed with foresight. And listen to this, beloved, the portal is still open. Despite the attack, despite the delay, despite the whispered curses and spiritual manipulation, the window has not shut. Heaven has not withdrawn the release. The $1 million transfer is still in the chamber. Still active. Still waiting. Still hovering over your obedience. But it will not wait forever. The spirit realm is counting your movements. Heaven is watching not your busyness, but your alignment. Are you listening? Are you silent when required? Are you praying instead of posting? Are you fasting instead of fighting? Are you responding in the spirit or reacting in the flesh? Because what happens in the next 3 days will determine what is unlocked on the other side. You've been warned not to panic, but to posture. You've been called not to fear, but to fortify. The enemy is coming back one more time, not because he's strong, but because he's desperate. And desperation is the final stage before defeat. The jealous voice will rise again. But this time, you'll be ready. You'll be silent. You'll be still. You'll be steady. And most of all, you'll be obedient. And when heaven sees your obedience, the transfer will fall like fire. Type "I am alert" and ready in the comments if you are standing in position. Blessing code 333 has now been sealed upon you. Your silence is your shield. Heaven is already at war for you. Do not engage. Do not explain. Do not retaliate. This is not your battle to fight. It is your battle to witness. You are not being called to speak. You are not being summoned to respond. You are being instructed to remain still, because heaven has already unsheathed its sword in your defense. Let this be written in your spirit. Stillness is not weakness, it is strategy. In the next 72 hours, while the jealous voice prepares its second strike, your assignment is not confrontation, but consecration. You are being guarded, not by chance, but by command. Archangel Michael has not left his post. He is watching. He is waiting. And he is already in motion. Every instinct in your flesh will want to react. You'll want to speak up. You'll want to respond to the shade. You'll want to set the record straight. But if you do, you will miss the divine covering that only comes through silence. This is a sacred test. Not to see how well you can fight, but to see how deeply you trust that heaven is already fighting for you. Remember what is truly at stake. This isn't about an argument. This isn't about their opinion of you. This is about a divine transfer that was released on September 7, $1 million shift in the spiritual realm that is about to land in the natural. But it cannot rest where noise resides. It cannot dwell where ego responds. It will not enter where spiritual pride pushes back. Your silence is not passive. It is prophetic. Every time you choose to stay quiet, you wage war in the spirit. Every time you close your mouth, you open the mouth of heaven. Every time you hold your peace, heaven releases its power. This is the mystery of holy restraint, that in stillness, God thunders louder than your words ever could. Let them wonder why you're quiet. Let them misinterpret your silence. Let them mistake your peace for weakness. Because while they're distracted by their own drama, you are securing the blessing. You are protecting the portal. You are remaining positioned. Surround yourself in prayer. Saturate your atmosphere with worship. Speak only when led. Move only when directed. This is not the hour for casual conversations or careless interactions. This is the hour of sacred preservation. The jealous voice is not just after your money. It is after your moment. If it can get you to respond in the flesh, it will contaminate what heaven is trying to release through the spirit. But you've come too far to fall for that. Cover your mind. Seal your ears. Withdraw from unnecessary interactions. Heaven is watching who you let near you in this hour. And more than that, heaven is watching who you're willing to walk away from for the sake of your call. Because some connections are contamination, and some silence is salvation. Declare over yourself now, I'm hidden in God. I'm shielded by heaven. I will not be moved by man. The fire is still coming. The transfer is still active. But your stillness is the access code. Do not miss this over a temporary reaction. Heaven is already at war for you. So rest in that. Let your posture be stillness. Let your protection be silence. And let your obedience unlock the rest. Type "my stillness is my shield" in the comments if you receive this word. Blessing code 888 is now surrounding you with divine protection. You are not who they think you are anymore. You have changed, whether they recognize it or not. You are no longer who they whispered about. No longer the fragile version they underestimated. No longer the predictable pattern they thought they could manipulate. The jealous voice that tried to block your breakthrough made one fatal mistake. It fought against the old version of you. At the moment that $1 million transfer was activated in heaven on September 7, something within you shifted. And now, You walk differently. You see differently. You discern differently. You carry the weight of transformation. What they saw was the version of you that tolerated smallness. But what heaven sees now is the version of you that's being fitted for greatness. And the war you just survived was proof of your evolution. People may not understand it. They may mock it. They may even call it pride. But that's because they don't realize you rose from fire with wings. There is a fire forming around you, not to burn you, but to brand you. You are being marked by heaven, not for show, but for assignment. This is not about popularity. This is about power. The kind of power that doesn't need applause to walk in authority. The kind that doesn't need a platform to shake the atmosphere. The kind that moves in silence, but shifts generations. You've been through too much to play small now. You've cried too many nights. Lost too much sleep. Held your tongue when you wanted to scream. Bit your lip when you wanted to respond. And all of it, was God shaping a fire inside of you that cannot be quenched. You are now walking with wings of flame. Wings forged in rejection. Wings formed in silence. Wings stretched through suffering. And no matter how many voices tried to clip them, your wings have survived the war. Now, it's time to fly. Let this be your declaration. I am no longer who they thought I was. I am who heaven says I am. The $1 million transfer is not just about provision. It's about position. You are being positioned for authority, for legacy, for territory. This next season is not about proving yourself to people. It's about fulfilling a heavenly commission that was written before you ever had an audience. You don't need their approval anymore. You don't need their validation. The ones who saw your beginning will never understand your becoming. And that's fine. Let them talk. Let them down. While they speak, you build. While they slander, you soar. While they hesitate, you move. This shift is not emotional. It is prophetic. And it is permanent. You have outgrown the garments of your past. You have outlived the labels that tried to stick on your back. You have surpassed the level where the jealous voice used to operate. And now, it cannot reach you. Because the altitude you're rising to requires breath only the anointed can breathe. You have become dangerous to darkness. That's why you were fought so hard. But here's the good news. Now that you know who you are, now that you've embraced the fire and grown your wings, nothing can stop what's coming next. Walk boldly. Speak boldly. Move as one who knows the crown already rests upon their head. You are not a victim of envy. You are a vessel of abundance, a carrier of divine wealth, a living prophecy in motion. And no voice, no matter how jealous, can silence what heaven has decreed over your life. Type "I have risen" in the comments if you feel this power awakening inside of you. Blessing code 000 is now activated over your identity. It was never just money. It was destiny. Let your spirit hear this. What was scheduled for release on September 7 was far more than currency. Far more than digits in a bank account. Far more than financial ease or material gain. What was meant to fall into your life was a destiny-shaping, legacy-shifting, generation-defining release. Heaven called it a transfer, but in the scrolls of the righteous, it was recorded as an unlocking. Not just of wealth, but of who you really are, and what your bloodline was called to carry. The jealous voice tried to stop it because that voice, though hidden, knew. It knew you were one move away from becoming unstoppable. One transaction away from becoming a benefactor of heaven's resources. One decision away from breaking every generational ceiling that's kept your family bound. This wasn't about money. This was about the mantle attached to the money. Because what God was releasing wasn't just for you. It was for everything attached to your obedience. Let me prophesy it plainly. You are called to fund movements, not just moments. You are called to open doors, not just walk through them. You are called to restore what poverty destroyed in your lineage. And the enemy knew if this transfer reached your hands, it would ripple into eternity. You have been marked by heaven for influence and provision. What others were born into, you are being trusted with. What others inherited through systems, you are being handed by the hand of God. And you need to understand, this level of assignment draws opposition because it carries transformation. They didn't envy your house. They didn't envy your car. They envied the evidence on your life, the undeniable glow, the divine endorsement, the weight of prophetic fulfillment finally coming into focus. They could sense it, even if they couldn't name it. That's why the whispers started. That's why the warfare increased. That's why your sleep changed. Because something was birthing, and it had your name on it. But here's the beauty of heaven's strategy. When darkness whispers, God roars. And heaven has roared your name. It has called you forth from obscurity into overflow. The transfer was not random. It was revelatory. A divine signal that the season of smallness was over. That the days of barely enough were being replaced with assignment wealth, the kind of provision that follows vision. The Spirit of God says, this is your unlocking. The jealous voice may have spoken. The interference may have come. The delay may have shaken your peace. But the promise was never canceled. And the portal, it's still open. Heaven didn't change its mind when the attack came. Heaven never changes its mind when obedience is still present. And right now, you are standing on the edge of the release not because of your perfection, but because of your posture. It's not about what you've earned. It's about what you've endured. Heaven rewards those who stayed faithful when no one clapped. Heaven honors those who carried the fire when others mocked the flame. Heaven remembers the tear-stained pillows, the silent prayers, the whispered declarations in empty rooms. This is your unlocking. You are not waiting for God. God is waiting for your yes, for your agreement, for your alignment. Because once your heart and heaven say the same thing, nothing can stop the flood. Type I am unlocked in the comments if you know this is your moment. Blessing code 1616 is now reigning over your next 7 days. When heaven speaks of unlocking, it's never just about receiving, it's about releasing. And if this word awakened something in your spirit, if it confirmed what you've carried in silence, then don't let this moment pass without responding in faith. Your giving is not a donation, it is a declaration. It is your way of saying, Lord, I receive it, and I stand in it. When you support this prophetic voice, you aren't just sowing into content. You are helping unlock this same word for others who are crying out in the dark. This is your time to activate the oil. Use the Super Thanks button, become a monthly member, or sow through PayPal link in the description. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Heaven is watching how you respond when the window opens. Sow boldly. Give prophetically. Act like you believe the portal is still open, because it is. Now move. Heaven is waiting for your yes. This is not the time to sit in silence hoping something will happen to you. This is the moment where you happen to destiny. The portal is still open, but it's not hovering forever. It is waiting for a sound, waiting for an agreement, waiting for a faith-filled yes to rise from your spirit like incense before the throne. Because heaven does not move on fear. Heaven does not move on hesitation. Heaven moves on alignment, and alignment requires action. You've heard the word. You've felt the confirmation. You've seen the patterns match your pain. You've survived the jealousy, the silence, the strange warfare. Now what remains is your response. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. This is not a season to be passive. This is not a time to hope for the best while standing still. No. This is the season to activate what has been hovering. Because everything you've been sensing, the weight, the pressure, the divine tension, has been heaven waiting for you to say, I'm ready now. You must understand this. Heaven does not force what you won't receive. The transfer has your name. The timing has been sealed. The angelic forces have cleared the path. But until your spirit steps forward, the transaction cannot land. It's like a divine wire transfer, sent but not yet claimed. Held, but not yet activated. All because heaven is waiting for one move from you. A declaration. A step. An act of radical agreement that says, I refuse to miss what's mine. I declare it. I walk in it. I move toward it. I speak like it. I give like it. I believe like it. This is not emotional hype. This is a spiritual demand. Because heaven doesn't bless random. Heaven blesses ready. And ready doesn't mean perfect, it means aligned. Aligned in posture. Aligned in faith. Aligned in language. Aligned in trust. So now I speak directly to the part of you that has been questioning, am I really the one? Can I carry that kind of abundance? Will it really come for me? Yes. Yes, it will. But only if you move with it. Don't just sit with the prophecy. Partner with it. Speak it out loud. Lay hands on your own head and declare over your atmosphere, I am in alignment. Your words carry power. Your atmosphere is waiting for your permission. The realm of spirit is listening to what you say in secret. And don't stop there. Begin to shift your life into divine posture. Start making room for what's on the way. Open your hands. Guard your environment. Clean out the emotional clutter. Release what you know has expired. Because the blessing cannot land where there is spiritual hoarding. Make room. Heaven only fills what is empty. And yes, move in faith. Speak the declarations. Take the actions. If heaven has said this is your unlocking, then now is the time to walk as if it's already done. Because the kingdom is voice activated. And your voice has been too quiet for too long. Rise now. Declare, decree, and dismantle every old identity that tried to disqualify you. You are not the version of you that struggled to believe. You are not the version of you that tolerated lack. You are not the version of you that waited for permission to shine. You are the chosen one, and heaven is waiting for your yes. Type yes, Lord, I move in the comments to activate your transfer. Blessing code 1212 is falling upon your obedience now. While you slept, heaven negotiated. There are things that happened in the spirit realm you will never fully understand, and yet they shaped everything. While your eyes were closed and your heart was weary, heaven was awake. While you whispered prayers through tears, angels were sent on assignment. While you carried the weight of uncertainty, Archangel Michael stood in the courts of heaven, sword raised, defending your name, your purpose, your inheritance. There has been a silent exchange, a moment in the unseen realm where what was stolen began to be returned. Not loudly, not with thunder, but with the hush of holiness. Not every miracle comes with noise. Some come in quiet transactions between heaven and earth, where the Father overturns verdicts and rewrites access. You may not have seen it. You may not have heard it, but it happened. Do you remember the night your spirit wouldn't let you sleep? When your chest felt heavy? When you kept checking your phone for something, anything, like your soul was reaching for something beyond the screen? That was not anxiety. That was not just fatigue. That was your spirit catching the scent of divine negotiation. Your inner man was being stirred because your name was being spoken in a realm where outcomes are decided before they manifest. The $1 million transfer was not just delayed by human voices. It was pulled into a courtroom in the spirit. The jealous voice tried to argue. The accuser came with records of past failures, reasons to delay, justifications for denial. The enemy always brings evidence. But what he forgot is that heaven brings blood. The blood of the Lamb still speaks louder than the voice of envy. And it was that blood that silenced the accuser. It was that blood that sealed the file marked with your name. And while you were wrestling in the natural, heaven was finalizing your victory in the eternal. You must know this. Your tears were not ignored. Every drop was gathered. Every groan without words was interpreted. Every sigh, every cry, every frustrated breath, it was all caught, catalogued, and brought before the throne. You thought you were breaking, but heaven was building your testimony. You thought you were losing time, but heaven was redeeming the delay. The silent exchange in the spirit realm is this: what was stolen is being returned with interest. What was blocked is being rerouted directly to you. What was delayed is now being fast-tracked because heaven knows the time is short. The jealous voice thought they succeeded. They thought the delay would break your confidence. But all it did was give heaven the space to multiply the blessing before it hit your life. Listen to me. You are not behind. You are right on schedule. And the proof is in the restlessness of your soul. The proof is in the clarity that's now rising. The proof is in the divine interruptions you've been experiencing. Everything around you is confirming what already happened above you. The portal is still open because the negotiation has concluded and the ruling is in your favor. Archangel Michael did not lose this battle. He stood. He warred. He won. And now the release is secured in silence, wrapped in glory, and waiting for your atmosphere to match what's already been settled in heaven. Rest in that truth. You don't need to perform. You don't need to prove. You only need to prepare. Because what you thought you lost was actually preserved. What you feared was stolen has been transferred back into your name. And now the rest is about to manifest. Type "I receive what was returned" in the comments if you know the transaction is complete. Blessing code 555 has now sealed your name in the victory vault. What they tried to block will return multiply. Let this be declared in every realm. The plan of the jealous voice has backfired. The very hands that tried to tie knots around your breakthrough have now been tangled in their own web. What they plotted in silence, what they whispered behind closed doors, what they hoped would remain hidden, heaven has exposed. And now, the judgment has been written. Justice is in motion. Divine reversal is on its way. This is not vengeance. It's vindication. You are not stepping into a petty reward for surviving betrayal. You are stepping into divine compensation for what was delayed, denied, and dishonored. There is a law in heaven that cannot be revoked. When the thief is found, he must restore sevenfold. And today, the law has been enforced on your behalf. The jealous voice underestimated the weight of your destiny. They thought if they could just distract you, delay you, discredit you, they could contain you. But what they didn't realize is that the anointing on your life is not fragile. It is fortified. Every attempt to block it only proved its authenticity. Every trap they set only unveiled your endurance. And now, heaven has ruled. What was fought will now be funded. Let this echo in your spirit. Reversal has begun. Where doors were shut, they will now swing open. Where opportunities were blocked, they will now chase you. Where you were excluded, you will now be elevated. This is not a return to what was. It is a promotion beyond where you were. Because heaven doesn't just restore, it multiplies. Heaven doesn't just return, it recompenses. Those who tried to curse your name will now have to watch it be honored. Those who turned their back on you will now see God turn his face toward you. And not in secrecy, in public. Because this next chapter will not be hidden. This is the season of visible glory, where what was fought in silence will now be celebrated in sight. You are about to walk into rooms where the only explanation is favor. You are about to receive messages that undo months of rejection. You are about to encounter opportunities that were once locked behind spiritual warfare, and now the angels are swinging those gates wide open. Don't forget this. Heaven recorded everything. The manipulation, the envy, the lies, the delay. And now, the scales have been balanced. The same mouths that doubted you will have to declare your rise. The same hands that tried to stop you will have to witness your overflow. And the same systems that pushed you down will now carry your name upward. You didn't fight for clout. You didn't scheme to get ahead. You simply stayed faithful. You stood still. You held your peace. And because of that, the divine court has ruled in your favor. Archangel Michael didn't just defend you. He positioned you for heaven-backed elevation. Now, as the reversal begins, keep your posture. Stay low before the Lord. Stay rooted in prayer. Stay clear of distractions. Because the floodgates are about to open, and the flow will be undeniable. The same voice that tried to block you has no authority in this new dimension. Let them watch. Let them whisper. Let them wonder how you rose from the ashes they buried you in. Because God has made his decree, what they tried to block will return multiply. And no force in hell can stop it. Type "I receive divine justice" in the comments if you know reversal is your portion. Blessing code 4444 is now flooding your path with restitution. This is your final call, not from me, but from heaven. The angels have stood still, waiting. The portal has hovered, wide open. The scrolls have been read. The verdict has been rendered. You have been cleared. You have been chosen. You have been protected. And now, you must respond. What began as a whisper on September 7th has now become a roar in the spirit realm. What was once pending is now pressing. What was once delayed is now demanding a decision. The $1 million release is not symbolic, it is strategic. It is meant to reintroduce you to the world, not just as a survivor of spiritual sabotage, but as a vessel of supernatural favor. Let every voice that tried to distract you be silenced. Let every hand that tried to stop you now witness your rise. Let every delay that frustrated your faith now testify to the faithfulness of your God. The jealous voice tried to block you, but it only confirmed your calling. The sabotage tried to cancel you, but it only exposed your covering. What was meant for your breakdown is now turning into your broadcast. And now, the transfer waits. But it is no longer hovering in the someday. It is sitting at the threshold of your now. All of heaven has leaned in. The silence has passed. The warning has been sounded. And this final moment is not about waiting for another confirmation. It's about walking in consecrated confidence. The kind of confidence that doesn't shout, but moves. That doesn't boast, but builds. That doesn't prove, but possesses. You are not just blessed, you are marked. You are not just favored, you are commissioned. You are not just waiting on heaven, heaven is now waiting on you. Step into the silence. Feel the shift. Agree with the timing. Open your spirit and say, "Yes, Lord." Because from this moment on, you are not wandering. You are walking in prophecy. You are not searching. You are stepping into fulfillment. The delay is done. The warfare is judged. The portal is closing. And your name has been written on the release slip. You are seen. You are sealed. You are sent. The $1 million release is waiting. Open now. Type "I am sealed in heaven's timing" in the comments if you receive this word. Final blessing code 7777 is now poured over your hands. What you touch next will multiply. If this message spoke directly into your storm, if you felt heaven pull your name from silence and declare it with fire, then do not walk away without responding in action. The same obedience that opens your release is the same obedience that helps someone else hear this word in their darkest hour. When you support this ministry, you're not tipping a message, you're sowing into deliverance. You are helping us carry God's voice into places algorithms can't reach. You're partnering with something eternal. So, if you feel led, respond now. Tap the super thanks below. Become a member. Or visit the PayPal link in the description to sow into this prophetic stream. Don't hesitate. Release activates release. And when you give into a word that fed your soul, you multiply its impact across thousands. Let your response become your release. Let your seed speak louder than your struggle. Heaven is watching. Now move.